Now pay attention, 007. I've always tried to teach you two things. First, never let them see you bleed.
And the second?
Always have an escape plan.
All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it may be, Bond fans. It's that one guy here today with another That One Bond Guy Meets with none other than Fleming Never Dies. Thank you so much for joining today. It's truly an honor to be able to finally sit down and talk to you. How is it going?
Thank you very much. I'm doing well. It's coming up to 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Hong Kong. And I think it's very different for you. You're in a different day and a different time zone.
Yep, it's 8:53, almost 9 o'clock p.m. Wednesday. Yeah, over here in California, Sacramento, California. First off, I just want to say again, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of the show. I really wanted to connect. I know we've talked a couple of times over Instagram, and we've liked each other's pictures, commented and such. And I wanted to finally put a face to the name and talk to in my opinion, one of the most awesome and most inspiring, because the pictures you post are absolutely breathtaking, whether it's a location or a clothing item or you in a suit. I absolutely love it. And for those who are watching, I will definitely link Thomas's Instagram down below, and so you guys will be able to see it and check it out for sure. But yeah, so give us a little insight to Fleming Never Dies. What's it all about, my friend?
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a perfect introduction. I feel very flattered. Thank you. Sure. So the idea of Fleming Never Dies. Originally, I was just going to kind of make the foods that Ian Fleming talks about in his books, take pictures of them, because I thought, we've got From Tailors with a Love, which is an amazing podcast. That was kind of my gateway drug to the world of the Bond community. And then there's some great talks about clothes and brands and so on. But I thought there was kind of a missing. I thought nobody is talking about food. So I really started to research how to make all this food. There's over 70 dishes talked about in the Ian Fleming novels. Then I discovered Edward Biddulph was way ahead of me, already had a blog, had already done almost all the dishes, and had done an amazing amount of research into kind of historic foods and how it's all changed. So to be honest, I bought his book, I went on his blog, and
Nice.
I started recreating those. But then I realized that other things to talk about as well, locations, suits, whatever. So yeah, just putting as much of my own stuff out there as possible.
That's awesome. I absolutely love it. I know kind of the obvious thing today, it was rather a couple days ago, NPL released their military sweater that you see in the poster. And I noticed that you talked a lot about your version of the sweater that kind of reminded you of some past memories. Give us a little bit of an insight of that moment and how it kind of correlated with you.
Okay, sure. So when I was at university, I joined a University Royal Naval Unit. So this is like a special reservist force. And what they say, their mission statement is to identify high caliber undergraduates, the future leaders and decision makers of tomorrow, and train them in the values and ethos of the Royal Navy. So for about 3 years, I got trained up on things like navigation, ship handling, and did Royal Navy issue Woolly Pulley, which looks very, very much like what NPL has done. When I first saw it, I thought the main difference was really just the neck and the drawstrings that Daniel Craig has. But actually, when I saw David Zarinsky's video, I could see close up, the quality was very, very different. The NPL one is much, much finer. From the sound of what he was saying, it really seemed like it was good feel against the skin. Of course, our Woolly Pulley, like all our clothes, are designed to be fire resistant. That's the biggest danger on a modern, naval ship. So they don't necessarily feel great against the skin. We were also given these special, we had solid boots that are resistant to over 100 degrees centigrade in case you're standing on the deck of a burning ship. You also have socks, which are 100% wool, because if they do get burned, then that wool doesn't stick to your skin quite so much, but they are phenomenally itchy. Stuff is not designed necessarily for comfort. It is practical. I think I said to you earlier in a message, I think Daniel Craig as James Bond might benefit from some fire retardant materials, but what he has looks so comfortable.
Yeah, right. I know. That was such a yeah. I know. I had to bring up that connection you had because I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, give us kind of how did you get the bug for James Bond? How did you get into the whole franchise? What started it off for you?
Sure, a bit like Pete Brooker. It was there as a kid.
Hmm.
For me, my family before I was born had travelled throughout East Asia and had actually been to James Bond Island in Thailand from the Man of the Golden Gun. And my father, when doing that, had taken some amazing Canon cameras with him. So actually, a big part of my childhood was my dad's slideshows as he was showing the culture of Southeast Asia. So that film connected with me a lot. Later on, as I grew up, I ended up reading the books at university, and reading the books had a major, major impact. So before Bond was something there, it's familiar, it's part of the furniture of, British culture. But reading the books definitely, definitely had a major impact on me.
Nice. That's awesome. So would you say you prefer the books over the films, or are they equal to you, or how do you feel about?
Yeah, so it's equal, and it's also one of those things depending on the day, right? So if someone asks
Mhm.
you what's your favorite Bond film,
Right.
depending on the day, it could be, License to Kill, or it could be You Only Live Twice. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's a
Right.
big range.
So yeah, I mean, what kind of motivated you? Well, you kind of explained it a little bit when we were talking about the food aspect and how you wanted to, uh, show the food aspect of Ian Fleming and James Bond. But besides that, what kind of motivated you to start the whole Instagram thing and posting and stuff like that?
I think, like yourself, I saw some great people doing great stuff, and I felt there's a good conversation going on, and I enjoyed watching it. I watched it for a while, but I was just a voyeur watching it. I felt it was
Mhm.
time for me to jump in and maybe share a little bit of what I had to share, because a lot of these pictures, they're not something I've just gone out and taken this weekend. I've been doing this for a long time, especially the stuff in Turkey. I lived in Turkey, or in Turkish Cyprus, for 7 years. I've traveled in the mainland quite a bit. So some of that I really find interesting.
Nice. So I'm assuming you've had Christmas in Turkey.
Many times in Turkish Cyprus, yes.
Nice. Sorry, I had to throw that in there,
You
but
had to, and that was the
yeah.
first Bond film I saw in the cinema. The World Is Not Enough.
Oh wow, interesting. Nice, nice. Yeah, I love that one. Um, yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that the Bond community has been so supportive and so nice, especially with me kind of just coming onto the scene for the very first time. And not only that, but being my age, I'm part of the younger crew. I'm going to be 20 this year, and I'm starting out, with YouTube and Instagram and everything, kind of just throwing my own spin on things. And I'm just surprised on how much support and love I've been getting from the people that have been doing this for years. I was really nervous about jumping into this because I know they're gonna think, "Oh, great, here's another Bond account that's gonna blow up or get popular." While we've been here for like 13 odd years or so. I forget when Joe Darlington started his podcast, but I know it was at least 13 years ago. And they were talking about how all these new accounts are popping up because of No Time to Die and all this hype and stuff. And I want something to, and I really didn't know what to do with my account until I talked with Mr. Zaritsky. And what we talked about was, he said you live on the west coast of the United States, so you have, San Francisco. You want to be a pilot because I'm going to university right now to become a pilot. Um, and you're young, you could show the way of a college student, but living the Bond lifestyle. So when we talked about that, it kind of just clicked, and I want this Instagram and YouTube process to grow with me. So as I get older, you guys will be able to see when I get my first Omega or first Tom Ford suit when I can afford it. It's just going to be a whole process. Right now, I'm just starting out with maybe doing some of the budget Bond type of things, but also getting to know everybody, because I think connecting wise is so crucial when wanting information or just needing somebody to talk to. And again, it's just so much fun to connect with people across the world because you meet some really great people like yourself, and I never knew, say 2 years ago, I would be talking to people in Hong Kong or in England, or it's great, and I absolutely feel so welcomed, and I'm so glad to be a part of a great time in 007 history. We got a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a pleasure. I say it's a pleasure that you reached out to me. Pleasure to talk to you now. And I've been watching your videos as you talk to people, around the world. You're going to study in London this year, is that right?
Yes,
Yeah,
this summer. I'm going to be going over there for a month, from May to June. I'll be over there and I'll be studying. It's just for part of my general education degree, so I can transfer to the bigger university for my aviation degree. But it allows me to get credits, but also experience the culture and indulge and see the different things. There's an itinerary where we're gonna go see all the historical locations. We're gonna go see a musical and the Romeo and Juliet play. A lot of these really cool things. But I want to go, and I think on the weekends we have off, I want to go to Duke's. I want to go to Turnbull and Asser, and I want to go to everything I can, Bonn, and take pictures, vlog about it, everything. And it's going to be such a very awesome experience because I'm going to be there, and I'm just excited about it and blessed that I have the opportunity to do it. I'm very excited.
really looking forward to seeing it. I hope you have a great time.
Yeah, but I want to ask you. No Time to Die is coming up. What are your plans to enjoy it? Are you going to watch maybe the Craig era films again? Are you gonna get dressed up, have a nice dinner, go to the theater? What are your plans for seeing No Time to Die?
So for me, I always come down. I live in Shenzhen in the mainland of China, and I visit Hong Kong for like major films. Partly because they're censored in China, so I can get the full release. I can get the full runtime. Kingsman, I know you're a big fan.
Yeah.
Was heavily for the China release. So
Wow.
yeah, any major movie that I'm interested in seeing, I always make a special trip of it, and I come down to Hong Kong. It's been in 3 different Bond films. Gets referenced quite a lot. So there's many special locations. I've been to one just recently. I think the last one on the list here that I hadn't been to. So yeah, I'll make a full day of it here in Hong Kong.
That's awesome. Are there like a lot of like events or a lot of anything tied to James Bond and the franchise over there? Because like you said, it's been mentioned quite a lot throughout the series of the movies. So.
Yeah, and as I was expecting, when I got onto Instagram that I'd be connecting with fans here, and I found myself connecting more fans in the US and in Europe. I've been surprised. There's a lot of really cool places to go to. Peninsula Hotel is my favorite. So we see that in the Man of the Golden Gun. It's got the green Rolls Royces. We only see the outside, and we don't see that much of the hotel. I'd always assumed as a child, to be honest, that it was a set. It was Elstree Studios or something. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I'm kind of used to everything being a set or something like that. So I was amazed when I saw it in real life, completely taken aback that all the Rolls Royces in Hong Kong really do belong to the Peninsula Hotel. Nice. And then going inside, it's the main hall, absolutely gorgeous place. And it's referenced by Ian Fleming in his travel writing. So tea at the Peninsula Hotel, or coffee if you prefer the Bond drink. Then yeah, that's my number one place to go to in Hong Kong.
That's awesome. One day I will be over there. I want to go to as many places as possible, and I really, everyone's making a kind of a list for me, and I really appreciate it when I go to London. So my list is getting bigger and bigger each day. But I'm excited. I've been, it's been a whole process of saving up money. I've been working really hard to make sure I get to pay for the trip, obviously, but also to get enough so I can go. And I want to get at least one small item from each Bond store. I know a tie from Turnbull and Asser is going to be quite expensive, but you're paying for the brand and the luxury, and it's going to be something that I have for years to come. And I don't mind, because not only it's the Bond reference and you get to wear it, but it will remind me of my trip to London, and every time I wear it. And speaking of that, I've noticed you have a wonderful array of suits and clothing. What are your top 3 outfits you love to wear that are Bond related? It could be either a suit, or it could be like a relaxing Bond, or swimming, anything. What would be your top 3?
Oh, cool. Well, I could divide into 3. I'd say my favorite suit. I wear probably the cream linen suit the most. So very similar to the one you see in The World Is Not Enough at the end. I wear that a lot. It was the first suit I had made when I came to China, and it just suits. I'm in a tropical place, so that lightweight suit helps. I've always make some kind of difference between myself and whatever the Bond suits are. Mine is that it has double vents instead of single vents. A very small change, but I'm just more comfortable with it. In terms of a casual outfit, yeah, the blue polo. In
Nice.
summer, I'm in nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a standard plain blue polo. And then for swimming, well, the Olabar Brown shorts, Yeah, I've got a couple of pairs of those, and yeah, I've just had a beach holiday. I've loved them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm excited too because I was kind of worried that when I head over to London, that they'll be out because I know they released that line a while ago, at least a few months ago, and they just talked about releasing another line coming up soon. I think next month they're going to be releasing some more, which is really exciting because now when I go to London, they'll have a new line of clothing to look at, which is really exciting. Um, yeah, I mean, what would you say is the best part in just kind of starting your Instagram and being part of this Bond community as a whole?
Sure, then it's definitely kind of the feedback I've gotten. Like, I was listening to a whole bunch of guys for a long time, like Bond suits, for example. So I just thought, I'll do this for a while, and maybe eventually, Mr. Matt Spicer or Pete Brooker, maybe eventually I'll come across them. And almost like the first or second thing I posted, I got some comments and messages from them. I was really surprised. I'm a big fan of their account, and yeah, I've been following it for so long. So yeah, across there.
I love that, the fact that they interact with everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a bigger, well-known account or you're just starting out. We're all like one giant family, which is super cool. Well, I am over the moon being able to talk to you. I am so glad we were able to connect. And I know I appreciate you working with my schedule here.
Yeah.
But I surely do hope to do this again. I'm thinking about maybe contacting some of the people I've been doing interviews with after the movie, and we could like sit down and do a little reaction thing. I don't know if you'd be interested, but
Absolutely.
you'd be on my list to talk to for sure. So I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. I look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah. Well, everybody, again, this is Fleming Never Dies on Instagram. I will link it into the description. Thank you, Thomas, so much for your time again. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to talk to you again, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
Stay safe out there, my friend. Stay safe.
Thank you.